That's all donations from businesses, residents, all that. So it's about 15,000. So pretty good. Our new body cameras finally, after 6 months, are online. We're looking at January, bringing you guys some samples so that you can see what it looks like. There's a couple of features on there that are really cool, I guess. It's a lot easier for us to download, transfer, and all that, so that worked that issue out. But one of them, if we have 2 officers on the scene, each officer has his body camera on the screen, they can actually break it into where you can see both of them on what that officer's seeing at that time in the different views. So that's really neat. One of the things to remember is when you watch it, it will be darker. These cameras are set up for the human eye. So what the officer sees, that's how the camera picks it up. We had night vision before, and if you remember when we had the shooting, it kind of distorts what he could see because when you watch it, it looks like it's really light out and you can see everything, and that's not in real life how it is. So Motorola's been a company, they've been in a lot of years. That's one of their recommendations, to make that look as realistic as possible for everybody who sees it. So we'll try and get some video where we split screen it and all that stuff for you guys so you can kind of see what you spent your $86,000 on. And we can go from there. On the body cameras you were talking about, we have the yearly fee that we pay, and then there was a startup and all that. One of the things that we realized in the body cameras are the batteries are supposed to last 12 hours. They really don't. So we got, with the program, it came with 2 batteries, but it takes 3 to 4 hours to charge a battery. So we ended up having to purchase 15 home chargers so the officers could charge their batteries instead of sitting here for 4 hours charging the battery. Downloads a lot faster. I think it's a couple minutes. Yeah. Not bad. So by the SOP, they have to carry both fully charged batteries with them, so if one dies, if there's a malfunction, they have to contact the major to let him know right away. So that way, if anything happens, it goes to court, we can explain why. Is there anything else you want to touch on? I know you've messed with it more than all of us.
So far, they've worked really well. We've already had critical incidents. We captured the cameras, we're able to share it with other agencies and the prosecutors super easily. Officers are able to review their footage instantly to write these reports. So far, they've already been just an incredible tool for us.
You guys have any questions on that? What major's here? Okay. Yeah, like I said, it was a pain getting it started. Nate lost more hair, and I think the major might have too. But yeah, so hopefully those are online, will stay online, and we'll be good. Please remember we have our Christmas dinner Thursday at 6 o'clock at the school, old dirt building. Go in the front doors. Somebody will be at the bottom to show them where to go. Okay, but is there somebody downstairs to show them where to go?
Sure.
Okay. Somebody downstairs to help you find the banquet hall, which is upstairs. What are we having?
We're having pulled pork and...
Barbecue chicken?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you don't remember, do you? So
I didn't handle the catering part of it.
Okay, I thought you did, I'm sorry. But please come, we're going to do a couple awards while we're there. We have some 5-year officers who've been here 5 years, and then Officer of the Year, and a Medal of Valor for our detective who's in the first active shooting. So it's a good time, the food's always really good.
You said 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, yeah. So please be there for that. Larry Ford, my administrative assistant, has retired after 40 plus years in law enforcement. He's been here for probably close to 20, I guess, if you ask him. So he's going to spend some more time at home and with his grandkid. FTOs, the laterals are doing really well. We have 1 out, 3 still in, but they're close to being, 2 of them are close to being done by January probably. And then 1 maybe a month later. He's only got hospital experience, so roads taking a little longer to pick up, but pretty happy with all of that. Myself and the deputy chief will be in up until next Monday after the meeting, And then we're on vacation until January 3rd, I think, 2nd or 3rd.
It's after that, because of the way the holiday falls. I'm gonna say it's like the 5th or 6th.
5th or 6th.
Whatever the Monday is after New Year's.
Monday night, the RDC, I know, had a meeting, and they spoke about speeders on Southport Road. Don't know why, but they did. So just to clear up a little bit of that, and I don't blame the RDC. If you don't come to these meetings, you don't know how it works. We have, on an average shift, we have one officer out at a time. We don't have the manpower to have more. There's some times where we'll have 2 FTOs out just trying to help out, or we're doing a blitz or something like that, or an overlap when Justin's out, we'll have a couple hours. Southport Road is very narrow between McFarland and the railroad tracks. So we do not stop a car in between there. We'll radar them and we'll, follow them, but until it gets to, you cross McFarland and it goes into 2 lanes, or you go over the tracks to where it widens out, that's where we wait to stop them. I know in the meeting, Rick has offered his driveway, and we appreciate that. We've used driveways in the past. We're kind of cautious of that, because if we're using their driveway and people get mad, they're going to egg your house, not anywhere else. So we're kind of conscious, and where like Rick lives, the road's narrow. If it's rush hour or you have several cars, it's 10 cars before you can get out of there to get behind the car anyway. So that's all a safety reason why we don't use that. I know the church was brought up. The guys still do use the church, but everybody knows it's there. So as soon as they pass the church and don't see it, we're doing 50 again. So they move around a lot. All of our cars are equipped with front and rear radar units, so they can be driving and pick the speeds up. They don't have to sit with a handheld. They have them in the cars, but they don't have to have them. So if you look at one officer out per shift, in the last 6 months, they stopped over 2,005 cars.
Wow.
They wrote 1,387 vehicles tickets, and they gave 618 warnings. I understand they're speeding on Southport. Unless you want to give me 50 more guys and I can put them on every street corner, I will stop your speeding. Until then, they are out there stopping cars. They're looking for speeders. Now, we just talked about 2,000 traffic stops. On top of that, they're averaging between 8 and 12 arrests a month. You have accident reports, they're doing 8 to 15. Assist runs where we're assisting other agencies, we average between 60 and 100. And then business checks, they're right around 1,200 of those a month. So we're also driving through checking the businesses for break-ins and stuff like that. So I get it, speeders are frustrating. We can see it all day long, but traffic isn't our only job. And one person doing it on a shift, they're out there doing their job. I know a mannequin was brought up and parked in a car. We've done that before. When Jesse Testreet was the mayor, he forced us to do it, so we did it, and they egged our police car and cut the tires because it never moves. If you look at Greenwood Regency Bank several years ago,
Yeah.
had a police car sitting out front, and they robbed the Regency Bank because they knew a cop wasn't there, just the car. So all of that stuff sounds good, but there's statistics that we look at to see whether it's worth our manpower or not worth our manpower to do. Having somebody go drive over there, park his car, get in that car, drive it 20 blocks down, and then walk back to get his car doesn't seem very efficient to me. Yes, sir.
So, speaking of Southport Road, because it backs up, and they did lengthen the time, for east and west.
Yes.
In Southport. However, there's still people impatient, and I'm telling you, and I've walked the dog and I've watched, they come to that turn off the railroad tracks, they're doing 30, 40 mile an hour. They don't stop for the stop sign there, they don't stop for the old. This guy flew through that stop sign yesterday, and he was doing at least 50 mile an hour, and I just stood there watching.
Yeah, so when you look at the breakdown you guys have in front of you, you have like UTTs and then you have ordinances, right? So UTTs are state tickets. State tickets pretty much encompass everything. By law, your ordinance tickets can only be certain things, like we can do it for speeding, and we can do it for stop signs or stop lights, but we can't do it for like headlights out, those type of things.
Right?
So if you look at that, they did 957 in 6 months of those. And if I went back and did the research, I would say probably a good 35 to 40% are stop signs and stuff like that where they're not stopping.
I mean,
They really like,
been good, but just here recently,
yeah,
I've been like, wow, I
Yeah.
don't believe that.
they do, because you know their favorite spots to sit there, Aniston and Walnut, because they'll get them all day long there. And most of them are teachers or parents going to the school to pick up their kids or drop their kids off. The same ones that call and complain to me that people are running stop signs and speeding.
Yeah, this
So-
one here, it's usually starts it's usually during rush hour.
Yeah, and we get a lot of people that use Madison down Stop 10, down Walnut to Aniston to get around all the traffic, because Stop 11's backed up from Sherman all the way back to McFarland. Same thing on Southport Road, so they're using a lot of those cutoff streets. Partridge is another one, Partridge to Shakespeare. No, I got that backwards, Shakespeare to Partridge to.
Yeah, they know if they cut through there, they can go north,
Mhm.
and they won't have to sit in that line at
Right.
Southport Road, they get to go, you know.
Yeah, so like I said, the guys all know where to sit and when to sit. You know, we try to get out when the buses are letting kids off so they're not running the stop arms and that kind of stuff. But again, we have one officer out, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm not saying anything that the RDC brought it up. All I'm saying is the more knowledge you know and how you understand how we work, maybe that'll ease some of the frustration of the speeders. I mean, we've stopped the same guy 3 times and you're like, are you that stupid really? You know where we sit, you know we're here, and then can you give me a warning? No, we cannot. One of the things I do look at, we look at when we're looking at our stats, you figure there's 1,387 UTTs or ordinances. And if you break those down, 430 are UTTs and 957 are ordinances, because we get $75 for each ordinance, and we only get about $3.50 for our UTTs. So they are heavier on ordinances. But when you look at the total of 2,000 traffic stops, 618 warnings. So we try to be half. We do get breaks. Especially if it's a resident, we've never had issues, bad days, whatever the story might be. The officers have that discretion on being able to whether to write them or not write them. But I think that's a pretty good balance of tickets versus warnings. But again, 6 months, 2,000 traffic stops, that's a lot of traffic stops on top of the business checks and that kind of stuff. So just kind of keep that in mind, and if you guys, especially as board members and council members, are going to get neighbors complaining about it. So this is just more of informational, so that when you're talking to them and they're angry, you can explain that to them, and they're more welcome to send them to my office, we can do that too. But that's kind of why we give you guys those numbers every month. And then January or February, we'll get you the year ending of all the traffic stops and arrests and that kind of stuff. So, and Major Rouse puts that together for me every year, which I think is pretty, I like the graphs and all that, so you guys can kind of see it. And we'll break it down by, age groups,
Yeah, all the demographics.
all the demographics of it, so you guys can kind of see, because that is stuff that, we do look at. We want to make sure that one, demographic isn't being targeted over another or something like that, or women versus males. So it's our way of also to keep the officers, making sure we're doing what we're doing. But just wanted to address that, because I know that was a topic Monday. Hopefully I can get to an RDC meeting and we can explain it to them. I'll bring it back up to the council meeting too, we'll kind of talk about it. So if there's any questions.
Yeah, we talked about, right there at Derbyshire, about putting that, like, kind of narrowing it and putting one of those real light speed bumps like they got all over
Crosswalks
the car.
that have-
Yeah, the raised crosswalk. So we put all of this stuff in. Indianapolis approved it, gave us the INIP grant. Once we got the grant, then they reached back out and said they didn't want us to narrow it and they didn't want us to raise it. And I said, well, we're not spending $80,000 to put flashing lights and a crosswalk across there, because that's not going to do us any good. We reached out to the city councilman for Indianapolis in our area, Derek Cahill. 3 months I've been waiting on his response. So we're still addressing it, but right now it doesn't look like it's something that we're going to get done.
Okay.
Meridian Hills got an INIP grant in 2024 4, and they still haven't been paid for theirs. So again, it's another one where if we get the grant and we submit it, I still think we should wait until Indianapolis actually forks up the half. Because it's about 160,000, I think, when it was all said and done. So it's about 80,000
Who knows
apiece.
what it will be by the time we get to it, who knows how much it
Yeah,
costs, right?
it could double by then. But yeah, so, doesn't look good. It's kind of like our sidewalk on South Street. It's about how much faith I have in it.
We don't
I
want
mean,
that.
Because I woke up in Carmel and followed people, and they did that on all their roundabouts and a lot of their stuff, and it is working because the people slow down because they know if they don't, they're going to just go.
Yeah, and Derek Cahill he's a fan of it. I mean, he thinks it's a great idea, and he actually sits on the board that can approve that. So he's really the one we need to twist the arms for us to get that to happen. But we've had at least 3 meetings with Indianapolis, and they're not budging.
Yeah.
So Chief, I'm trying to understand, all Indianapolis wants to approve is like flashing lights.
Put some flashing lights.
But
paint.
not raised and narrowed, and if we don't raise it and narrow it, it's not gonna slow people
Yeah, I mean, I
down.
can grab paint and go paint a crosswalk and put some flashing lights. It's a hell of a lot cheaper. But again, it's kind of like the car theory of sitting the police car out there. It's great until I drive down it 15 times and I know, and they're not gonna slow down. If they know a hill's there, they're gonna slow down every time.
Why is Indianapolis not wanting to approve it? I don't
Well, at
understand.
first they said we didn't have enough cars that traveled down the street. Then, when they did the survey for that, they did it during COVID, where nobody was out driving. So then we asked for another survey, which would put us over the numbers. Then they said they didn't like it on a road 35 or higher. I said, well, it's 25. So they just got a bunch of excuses. Willie from Crossroads actually pulled up like 12 that they did downtown, the speeds of 30 or 35. And they're like, yeah, but those were special. So not really sure what their real reasoning is for not wanting to do it. And I mean, we don't go away real easy. Usually we hang around 3 years before it's
That's still
scrapped.
the digital radar.
And since we're our own city, why do they get to decide what?
Southport Road is owned by Marion County. So with IndyGov, it's part of Indianapolis. And we've talked about this before. We get MVH money for Southport, not a lot, but it is their road to do it. But as soon as you start maintaining their road, you're going to see them do nothing with it. So again, that was why the INET came in. We partnered. You pay half, we pay half. We're happy. We got what we wanted. We did all the engineering work. We did hiring the contractors.
Right.
Basically, you're signing the check and sending it to us, and then you take credit for it because it's your road. So to me, it sounds like a win-win, but I don't work for them. So,
They don't work either.
so that's kind of where we're at with the raised crosswalk, though. It's still on the table, just don't have a lot of faith it's going to get accomplished.
Right.
And the other thing is you have to look at is we have money for engineering fees now. And for them to not give us what we're looking for, we would then have to spend more money to get a new engineering study to do what they want to do in cost and all that stuff. So, and we've thrown that out there, you know, how much money we have invested, and it's not really nice or plain nice to change the rules in the middle of the game, so. But we'll see, we're still working on it. Spring, we'll hit it hard again. Any other questions? All right, Public Works. So, the snow blower fiasco. One thing I didn't think through was when we put another 500 feet of ramps and sidewalk. I like shoveling, I don't like shoveling that much. Our snow blower actually plugs into an outlet, that's how old that thing is. Again, don't have enough extension cord now. It works well when we had what we had. So one of our thought processes through it was if we get a gas one and we don't have snow one year, it sits for almost 2 years and keeping it maintained. So we looked at battery operated ones. Lowe's has a commercial grade one that comes with 2 big batteries and all that, and it was like
$2,269.
Yeah, right, several hundred.
So we were going to do that, we were going to use a credit card at first, but they had to pay some bills, and we have a limit on what we can charge on it. So we went with the check route that blew up. 4 hours later, we scrapped that. Came here and said, hey, we want to get a snow blower for $22,069. Melissa has paid all the credit cards back to zero, I guess, after
For a couple
Monday.
days, yeah.
After Monday. So we'll just go grab the credit card and go buy it. But yeah, if you want to vote on that, you can. It doesn't matter to me. I have a $7,500 spending limit, so
It's Southport
Go ahead and do
equipment.
it.
Did they try to help us out any?
they don't help us out at all. We've tried. They used to. They had new management, and they're not.
They want to make all their money off one customer. I got it.
Yeah, there you go. So I don't know if we want to vote on that, but
If it's under.
Chief's got a bad
It's
back.
under your
already.
thing and you can just do it.
I don't remember, this guy's 80, so we don't like shoveling that much. So that's where we're at on the snow blower. So the other thing I'm getting quotes for is a snow blade for the Bobcat. I haven't got that. I was hoping to have it today. I do know the labor's $1,000 to install it, but I don't know what the snow blade costs. But the Bobcat, with the way we redesigned the parking lot, and especially this one out here with the light poles and the signs, the truck is very difficult to get it cleaned up. So putting one on that so that we can do the new parking lot and then over here. So I'll get that to you. I don't think it's gonna be as much as a snow blower, but we'll see. All the smoke detectors in the community room have been replaced. They are hardwired, so we had to go get some. The handrail for the project over there. So we've paid, is it just a little over half, Alyssa, for the project over there?
Yes.
So we are not paying the rest of it until next spring. One of the reasons is they still need to plant grass seed, clean up and all that. It's so far into the winter that they didn't have time for that. And if they did it, the grass would die. It wouldn't do us any good anyway. So the rest of that won't be paid until then, to kind of answer your question. So we'll have to close it out by spring of next year.
What was the deal? Why are the handrails so late?
I'm getting to that too. That's my next. That's actually what prompted this, but I didn't want to lie to you and tell you I wasn't going to talk about it. So we talked about it, so here's why. So the handrails had to be manufactured for the thing, so they measured all of it and did all that. They sent us what it looked like. We said, yeah, that's fine. It was supposed to be installed this week. I got an email from Brad, who's our engineer from Crossroads, sending a nasty email to them, wanting to know why the handrail wasn't up where we're at. As of now, there has not been a response from the handrail people. So to answer your question, I don't know. It is on our top of our priority list, and like I said, I think about every Monday and Wednesday, he sends them a nasty email. So we're trying to figure that out. One of my questions to them was, can we put the handrail up in the wintertime by drilling into concrete? And they said yes. That's not a problem, which is another reason we're waiting until spring. So let's see what the asphalt looks like after salt and, you know, all that. What it looks like after we get the handrail up and it dries out before we pay them. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Is the wooden one gonna be okay through the winter? It won't like,
I hope so.
Collapse.
Yeah, I hope so. And Brad and I both have kept an eye on it, and there's been a couple times they've got to come out and fix some things on it.
okay,
But I can't see it lasting the whole winter, to be honest.
okay.
And then I had to go over, I put 12 signs up that says don't lean on the wooden
Don't lean
rails.
That's,
Because I went over, there's 12 seniors all leaning on it, and I'm like,
oh, yeah.
that's a long fall from up there, you might want to get off the rail.
It's such a good idea to put those signs out.
Yeah, so we got signs up there, but like I said, I'm hoping before the end of this year, we got some type of handrail.
Okay.
And then we did that, the handrail closest towards the Perry Seniors where the riprap is. Have you guys been over to look at it? There's like an area, we got rock in it. That didn't have a handrail, and we had a discussion with them
Yeah.
on, it might not need it by code, but it makes sense to have it there, so let's put it there.
Yeah.
So they did add that part to it, so that should be part of that. Trucks, all the trucks are in good working order. Snow plow and salt shaker are on the truck. Bob plowed on Tuesday when we got that snow. all the Christmas lights are up on Southport Road. There are 2 lights that are out. It's because the electrical box on there is bad, and AES said, yeah, we'll get to it. So I figure by June, we'll have them done.
We should leave those 2 lights up.
I thought about taking them down, because if they're down, they don't call me. If they're up and they're not on, they'll call me.
True.
Yeah. Ken is really good about that. I didn't think he drove at night, but really he does. We talked about the street sweeping. Last thing I have is I talked to Brad. So the community crossing grant that we get every year to do our roads and stormwater went from a 25-75 match to a 20-80 match in our favor. So that's good. They moved it to 1 bid a year instead of 2, which doesn't bother us at all. But the problem they're having now is Crossroads has done 10 bids on this new one, and 3 of them were not approved. And so we're trying to figure out, were they not approved because they weren't big enough projects? Were they too big of projects? So we're not really sure. But it seems like they're being a little more picky on the ones that are approving now versus you put it in, you pretty much got it last time. So we're going to kind of keep an eye on that. Our community crossing grant in the spring is about $700,000, a little over $700,000 we're doing. That's already been approved. We've already got bids. So we're good there. After that, Crossgate needs work. So that'd be a whole mill and overlay. And then if you look at Van Dyke, West Street, or Warman and South, and Madison right there, we have a lot of chuck holes on the corners. We can argue for the next 6 years whether it's Indianapolis' responsibility or ours. So I think we just fix it and we move on. But maybe do something like we did on South and West Street, where we just went back 30 feet or 40 feet, fixed the corners,
repaved it.
get past like Speedway, and just repave it up to there so we get rid of all those chuck holes. But other than that, a lot of our work after that is crack and seal and maintaining what we've already done. So again, we think we're going to have a problem trying to get a community crossing grant to pay for those. So that might be something we have to look at every other year. But we'll cross that bridge. He just wanted me to bring it up so you guys knew that there is issues, and we've got a lot of good answers.
So who has to approve or not approve those community crossings?
NDOT does that.
Okay, so it's a state
Yeah.
jurisdiction.
Any questions? All right, it's on you.
That's all I got.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Melissa, any permit status report? No outstanding permits? Or anything that, no new ones?
We have one that's gonna get approved tomorrow for an electric box on Southport Road, but
Okay.
just changing the box goes,
Well, now, I'll open it up to the audience. Does anyone have a question?
Wait, one question for the chief. What is the slowest you can go on Southport Road? Just curious.
Slowest?
The slowest under 25 you could go?
You mean like lowering the speed limit?
No, not lowering, just if you're driving.
I screw with them and drive like 2 or 3 miles an hour, but
Wherever you can idle, I guess.
Because I usually drive between like 20 and 22 on it,
So-
and I'm getting, like, people honk at me.
yeah, so Southport Road's 25.
I know it is.
The guys,
It's like-
if you're looking at Southport Road, the guys will usually give them 8 miles over before they start stopping them and stuff. Inside the city, when it's 20, it's usually like 6 or 7 miles an
But there
hour.
isn't an under one that's wrong.
No, so by law, yes, yeah, by law, if you're driving under the speed limit and you have 3 or more cars backing up,
So
you
I
can
can
be
be
stopped.
I'm like, okay, buddy, now you
They're
better
so
go
good.
get it.
I was just doing to try to slow people down because I'm
Yeah.
too fast.
You know what I do? I drive real slow, and then when they honk, I turn all my lights on, and they all just,
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun.
We are.
Yeah,
I
that's a lot
have
of fun.
plans to do that.
Yes. You have to ride with me one day. We have a good time. Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, if you're holding up 3 or more cars, you can't be pulled over for that.
It is kind of fun to do.
Not
though.
bad.
I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
Yes,
Carol?
ma'am.
So the 2 wooden park benches that are in the park, did they come with the project?
The 2 wooden benches came back from the pergola. So you remember the 2 benches we had back there? When we tore that down,
Yeah.
they still look good. So we didn't put the ones back in the concrete because the poles were
Okay.
rusting. So we thought that'd be a good place to put
I
them.
just saw them, they looked in it,
Yeah, well, they painted them last year, remember?
These look like wooden ones. Maybe I'm.
Well,
Yeah.
there was, the school donated two also, so
Okay,
I'm
that
not
must be
sure
them
which
then.
one.
Yeah, that must be.
If they're the wood, it's the ones the school
Yeah,
donated.
they, and those are nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how they.
It would be nice if they'd tell us and just not drop them off.
Yeah. And the thing on Saturday was very well done.
Thank you.
I know that I was
Crabby.
The Grinch was at our Christmas party. One thing too, I forgot, I'm glad you brought that up. This Saturday at 2:30, we will leave here with Santa and we'll drive him around the city. Santa and Mrs. Claus, I keep getting in trouble for not bringing her up. Santa and Mrs. Claus will drive around the city. We will end up at the park at 3:30 for their Christmas in the Park event. And I believe Santa's there a couple hours, 5:30, 6, something like that. So if you hear lights and sirens, or you hear sirens and see lights.
It's gonna be very cold.
Run outside and wave.
He's not worried about the cold, but if it's raining, we can't put him outside because the suit will go bad. So, and I hate to put him in a car because you can't see him. So I guess if I put him on one side, her on the other, you get
Yeah,
warm.
you can do that.
So you'll leave here at 2:30?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It takes us about an hour, a little over an hour, so we'll have them there by 3:30 or 3:40.
And when you make the turn, you go through Southport, through Speedway parking lot, don't you? Okay.
Yeah, we tried to do Madison and stop all those cars.
Yeah, that wouldn't work too well.
Yeah, we just go.
I try to wait and see if you come in.
Freak out.
Speedway parking lot.
Yeah, we
If
just
you
go.
go through Speedway, they freak out.
Yeah.
I would donate.
That's okay, it's safer for us.
Yeah. Any other comments? Well, it is 7:42. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Cooney. Can I get a second? Second by Cooper. Adjourn. I do for Betty. Betty likes a good gavel.
Well, if you're Susan,